Good afternoon, dear judges. I am contestant number 2, and today I'm going to read the article, Tall or Short. A long time ago, a camel and the pig were walking together through the countryside. As they walked, they started to argue about an unusual question. Was it better to be tall or short? The camel raised his head proudly and said, "It's much better to be tall. Look at me. I'm tall, strong, and I can see everything from up here." The pig snorted and shook his head. "That's nonsense. Being short is far better. I can move around easily and fit into places you can't even dream of." The camel laughed and said, "Well, if I can't prove that being tall is better, I'll give up my hump." The pig replied confidently, "Fine. If I can't prove that being short is better, I'll give up my snout." "Deal," said the camel. "Deal," said the pig. They decided to settle the argument by looking for situations where being tall or short was more useful. After a while, they came to a beautiful garden surrounded by a low wall. The pig tried to jump to see over the wall, but couldn't. He could barely get a glimpse of the plants inside. The camel, however, had no trouble at all. His tall neck allowed him to see everything inside the garden. "Not only can I see the plants, but I can also eat them," the camel said with a grin. He stretched his long neck over the wall and began munching on the leaves and flowers. The pig stared in frustration. "Well, maybe being tall is good for now," he muttered. "But I still think being short has its advantages." The two continued their journey until they came to another garden. This time, the garden was surrounded by a very high wall. The only way to get inside was through a small gate at the bottom. The camel bent down to look at the gate and tried to fit through it. No matter how much he tried, he was far too big to get inside. He sighed and stood outside, unable to enjoy his delicious vegetables inside. The pig, however, was delighted. "This is my chance," he said. He easily squeezed through the small gate and found himself surrounded by tasty vegetables. He ate until he was full, then walked back out with a big smile. "Now, my tall friend," the pig said happily, "what do you think about being short?" The camel shook his head and chuckled. "I suppose you have a point, my little friend." The two animals thought about their experiences for a while. Finally, they agreed. Tall is good when tall is needed, and short is good when short is needed. In the end, the camel kept his hump, and the pig kept his snout. They learned that everyone has their strengths, and sometimes it's not about being better, it's about using what you have at the right time. I am contestant number 2. Thank you for listening.